Girl, before we even get started, did you see the post from Dr. Sean Best about his little it's your wifely duty statement that he swore he didn't make? Whether you saw it or not, I'm gonna read it to you because it's important. So before we get started, I have wine. I'm gonna give you a second to go get yours. That was the second. Okay, Dr. Sean Best posted, and I'm reading this word for word, mistakes and all. I apologize. It was my wrongdoing. Full stop. I am starting to get it now, and I am truly sorry to my wife and the many out there who felt the wrong side of feeling before. Family and friends who love me tell me about myself, so know that they love and correct me. My village keeps me accountable, and this is what I've learned since getting married. Number one, I gaslit my wife. I said words, tried to backtrack, and did not own up to what I said. I was big wrong. This kind of behavior can be triggering for many people who have been put in a pressured position to please their partner. Hundreds of people have expressed to me how they felt this way with past or current partners, and the collateral damage has multiple ripples and traumatic impacts that can stunt relationship growth. This may happen, but I have to own that I caused that discomfort and I will turn in a new direction for more ownership behavior going forward. Wait until your partner is ready. Number two, I will apologize a million times in a million different ways. I really I'm really in my feelings today because I am realizing how many ways that I can hurt someone with one sentence. Literally, the hurt that I cause could be in 10 different directions that show up tomorrow and the next day. And I'll apologize again and again and make the correction again and again. I add tools, I practice, I come back stronger and better. And to my brothers, mistakes will happen, so that's not the issue. Just apologize. Not, I'm sorry you feel this way. That's not an apology. Just, I see the damage I caused and I'm sorry. May our transparency in this process provide some level of healing for your journey. That's what he had to say about it. I feel like that type of apology after the backlash is not like he didn't see what he did wrong until so many people told him. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. I just wanted to add that in there. You should have your wine by now. Or I read that foolishness. And we're gonna get started with Married at First Sight, season 20, episode 13. So Marissa she has her friends over. They're, drinking wine, and she's telling them about how passionate Adam is about pickleball, and she don't like it. She also told him that, she had concerns in therapy, and he just kind of, yeah, sure, sure, sure. So she's not even sure if he actually took it serious. She did tell them that they're working on compromise, whatever that means. So her one friend said she was glad that Marissa is holding on to herself and not conforming like she's done in the past. Marissa said her and Adam have so many similarities, but it's been really stressful. And I can only imagine, like, he literally wants to play 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's ridiculous for a grown person. So while they're talking about him, Adam walks out and he joins the party, and he tells them that, Marissa is the normal one in the situation. And I'm not even sure Adam believes that, but he said he realizes that he's at a different level, that he's very extreme, and, he's got to compromise. So Marissa says in front of everybody that she feels like he needs to join like a pickleball club so they can tire him out, and then he can come home, she can finish him off, because that's about all she can do. So one of her friends was like, name 3 things that you love about her. He said, her sense of humor. Um, she's very comforting. And he couldn't come up with a third one to save his life, honey. Her friend thought that was so funny. As a friend, I would have been offended. If you can't come up with 3 things on the spot, leave my girl alone. Leave her alone. Um, they asked him what was the hardest thing about, or some of the harder things about being married to Marissa. And of course he said her not wanting to play pickleball. Marissa said she was being herself. She wasn't being herself in the beginning. Sorry, and she wasn't, speaking up, telling Adam. And I said that. I did. I called it. She said she was just falling back to her old ways and conforming to whatever Adam wanted to do. So we get over here to Courtney and Nick. Courtney is getting ready and she's getting on my nerves. Okay, she brings up the group dinner. She said she doesn't feel like he's being himself because he don't have opinions about anything. And I don't think that's the case. I think he doesn't care about certain things, but I think his opinions don't match hers, and for her that makes them wrong, or invalid. She acknowledges that she does not give him the space to have an opinion or to express himself. Um, he tells her that he kind of mirrors the environment that he's in. Like he matches energy. I'm gonna give you what you give me. And he said she's not really goofy and playful with him like she is with the other couples, and I've noticed that too. She has a good time. She has no problem opening up to everybody but Nick. Did I call him Adam? I don't know, Chad. It's the wine. Um, he said when he's tried to open up to her in the past, it didn't go well, and he's right because she will not let that man complete a thought. So he brings up how she is with the other couples or whatever, and specifically Adam. And I knew it. I knew he was gonna bring that up. But when he opens up, when he's trying to be playful and flirty and stuff, she kind of shuts it down. And then they rolled a clip to where he was like, they got in the car. He said, "Let's boogie," and she was like, "Oh, that gave me the ick," because my grandma used to say, anytime he's being himself, she shuts it down. She said, "Well, what do you need from me to be comfortable being yourself?" He said, just be more jokey. Like, when I make a mistake, just laugh about it instead of talking about how I couldn't fix an espresso machine for a whole week. That tickled me because he ain't going to let that go. And apparently she hasn't either. He was like, it's okay to tease. Um, I don't have a problem with that. He was like, I don't even know how much I can flirt with you. He said he gives her compliments all the time, and it would help if she just gave him one back. She was like, I complimented you 2 times this way. That's not what she said, but that's all I heard. I'll be paraphrasing. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this whole thing is paraphrasing. So he said, I take any compliment. It doesn't have to be looks, because she was like, I told you was hunky. I told you this and I told you that. She hasn't been complimenting that man. He uses her words against her, and he was like, it takes time for me to be comfortable with someone. And do you know what she said? Let me tell you what she said. She said, you are married to me, so there's no reason not to be comfortable. I said, girl, what? You've been saying that the whole time. Since you met him, you're not comfortable yet. You have to warm up to somebody. You're a slow burn. Now he's married to you. Y'all have been married since day one, but he don't get to burn slow. I don't like that. Talking about, I've been pretty comfortable telling you my stuff. You ain't talking about nothing. You just talked about that man who didn't want you. Just like Adam. Adam don't want you either. Then she starts doing the most. He said, how can you say I'm not being myself if you don't know me? Why don't I know you? I'm trying to effing know you. And I'm like, okay, Courtney, but like, choose your words wisely. That you're escalating for no reason. Nick goes to lay down and process this. He was like, I'm sorry, I can't process things like that in the moment. She was like, it's a big bug over there. So she go over there and kill the bug. And she was like, yeah, just sit on it. And then like this bug, kill it. I was like, I don't know what she meant by that. But I immediately, in that moment, hoped that they were the couple that was leaving the show that I saw, in the previews. Cam and Michelle. So they're having a conversation about work, and he tells her that, sometimes he gets angry while he coaches and it alters his mood, and he doesn't want that to affect their relationship. He said after the group dinner, he started to stress about the future and one of them waking up and not feeling the same way about each other. So he's having the Felipe effect. He's feeling like, what if? What if she doesn't like me tomorrow? What if I don't like her tomorrow? Michelle said when he gets in his head like that, it makes her nervous. She said now she's wondering if he's going to say no on decision day. She calms his nerves by telling him, chasing perfection is setting yourself up for failure. It's not going to be perfect. There will be good days, there will be bad days, but we have to make this choice. So Devin and Caitlin, they're at a restaurant, and Devin, he's asking her questions, trying to get to know her. Like, what can you talk about forever? That girl said Harry Potter in World War II. Check, please. Because what? He brings up the group dinner, and he said he wasn't trying to put her on the spot, but he just let stuff fester, and it just came out in that moment. He was like, he didn't feel like they had time to talk about it in the past. And I'm like, come on now, y'all could have talked about this on the ride over there. You didn't have to hit her like that. So she basically told him she didn't appreciate learning that in front of everybody. And I I can't blame her. As much as she get on my nerves, I can't blame her. She said he doesn't, well, she tells us she doesn't think he did it on purpose, but she feels like he does that stuff. No, she told him that, I think. But she said she doesn't think he did it on purpose, but she feels like he does that to get a reaction out of her because her having any kind of reaction makes him feel better and it makes her feel worse. So he said he hates arguing. He would rather not argue if he didn't have to, but sometimes hard conversations are necessary. And she was like, "Well, I just don't think that was necessary." Um, and she wasn't wrong. They could have taken care of that in a 15-minute conversation. He said in the future he will text or call her when he feels away instead of waiting until he get around a group of people to express his feelings. So they're talking, whatever, trying to. I don't know. It's just weird when things don't happen naturally, and I understand that it's a rush process. But he like, so how about cuddling? Do you want like to cuddle on the couch? And she was like, yeah, I just like to sit across from you and just put my legs on you. He was like, okay, that's perfect. Well, we got to talk about that. That's stuff that I don't know. That's just weird to me. Anyway, so Becca and Mel, they're sitting on the balcony, and this was a real moment for me before, Mecca being Mecca. They're sitting on the balcony drinking hot chocolate and talking about their childhood. It was a cute little scene. And he said, he was so jealous of his siblings growing up because they had their mother in the household. They got to have smartphones. They got to hang out with their friends. And I'm like, well, why you couldn't get none of this? Like, what was going on? Somebody need to call Logic and figure it out. He said if he told his dad would be like, yeah, I noticed, but ask me if I care. I was going to raise you how I wanted to. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on there? Mecca also let us know that with the way he was acting, that he didn't deserve any of those things or whatever. He said he didn't get a smartphone until he was a senior in high school. And Belle was like, what do you mean how you was acting? He was like, oh, I was acting up. She was like, you don't think your siblings ever acted up? He said, not the way I was acting up. He said he would pee on himself during a whooping. He said he wet the bed up until he was 13 years old. So Belle opens up and she tells him that she was beyond poor when she was a kid. He was like, beyond poor? What does that mean? She was like, beyond poor, like no lights, no water at times. She said she had toothpaste for a meal at a certain point. That hurt my feelings. She said there were days that her mom didn't eat. She had 5 kids that she had to feed. That toothpaste thing really hurt my feelings. I really see Belle in a different light. And while I like Mecca as a person, not as a partner, I do not think this is the man for her. That is why she's so humble, so forgiving. She has been through things that we probably couldn't even imagine. She said with all they've been through, they still found a way to celebrate birthdays, and that's why birthdays mean so much to her now. So Mecca tells us that with her birthday being this week, he wants to do something special to celebrate her and let her know that she's appreciated. So we get over here to Devin and Caitlin. They watching rugby. Then we skip over to Cam and Michelle. They're on a date talking about bad first dates. She said she came to that very spot with a guy that she met on Hinge, and he was so sunburnt. So while they was sitting there talking, he just started peeling his skin off. I said, ew. And Cam said he went on a first date with somebody who was on acid, and she told him she was on acid. I said, oh, yeah, I see why they went on married at first sight. So Tori is at home. She's cooking, and she's on the phone with her sister, Macy. She has the scariest looking cat sitting on her couch talking about she dog sitting for Felipe's parents. Give it back. Come get it. I don't do cats anyway. I'm definitely not doing no naked one. Nope. Tori said, well, she tells Macy about Felipe missing the single life. She said she's not having this wishy-washy stuff. It's starting to get on her nerves. Her concern was that Felipe's mom does everything for him. She was like, I ain't even sure he's ever done anything on his own. Like, his mama come over, she cleaned up, decorated the apartment. Like, he's kind of dependent. She was like, I don't even think I can trust him to take care of my dog, so I had to make other arrangements. I said, what? Well, what were you doing to the dog before you met him? Because, that's still your dog. Apparently, his job is family owned. And his job before that, his dad got it for him. So he's never really done anything on his own. She's right about that. She said they're 3 weeks away from decision day, and the last time they asked if they would say yes, if today is decision day, what would you say? She said yes, but today it wouldn't even be undecided. It would be a no, as it should be. So Belle's at the front door, and she's knocking, and I'm like, why you can't get in? So Becca opens the door. He was like, hold on. He opens the door with flowers, and she's walking down this candlelit hallway. It was so cute. He had the table set with her little gift on it, and then the smoke detector started going off. I said, oh my God. Becca, this was good. This was beautiful. It was a great idea. It was very thoughtful. When she opened that bag and pulled out them Cheetos, though, I said, now, Mecca. And if she would have sat there and acted like this was okay, I would have had a problem with Belle. She was like, my angry foods, that's what you got me? I think she knew he was kidding. I didn't, though. I had no faith. He got her a purse and something else that I didn't get to see because she knocked him over with that hug, and it was cute. It was a good scene. She tells us that she's never experienced anything like this before, and she felt like it was a fairy tale. I felt so bad in that moment. She has been through so much. I hope she finds the love that she deserves. When she asked him where he was as far as love goes, I'm sorry. First, he said, based on everything I've done for you, you're madly in love with me. And she was like, I'm in the neighborhood. So when she asked him where he was as far as love goes, he said he could feel strongly about somebody and still not love them. Now, I can tell that kind of made her pause, because what do you mean? So she asked him, what's the difference? What would it look like if you were in love, since it's the same as you know? He was like, I don't think there would be a difference. I said, see, Mecca, every time I give you a point, you take it back. Every time. Felipe gets home. He don't even notice Coda's gone. Coda is the Tori's dog. He don't even notice. I'm like, oh, yeah, she didn't greet me. Yeah, he ain't thinking about that dog, baby. Find somewhere for your dog to go during the day. So she tells him that she's had a lot going on with work, and she don't feel like she can trust him to take care of Coda. She needs him to step up in that regard. Now, Tori, your dog is still your dog, okay? It's still your responsibility. That's why he got a cat, because he knew he was going to be in and out, up and down. He didn't want to be walking nobody. You probably should have got a cat, too, if you can't walk him because you got to meet somebody at 6 a.m. He was like, okay, yeah, I want to make your life easier. She said, well, right now my life is hard. Well, you don't need a dog, okay? Now, I don't really fool Felipe, but you might be doing too much. You can't put your responsibilities off on him now, because you scheduled that meeting knowing you had to walk your dog. He said, it's been a while since it's been a while since the wine, Jesus. Felipe said it's been a while since he's moved with anybody, and he just needs some time to adjust. In the end, he agreed to help with the dog and do more around the house, okay? So Tori tells him she's nervous about going into this group session. He was like, it's all good. I'm just going to say everything is good. Because he know he messed up in that last one where he talking about he wanted to be with the hoes, or whatever he said. She was like, so you think things are good? Because I don't. She was like, I don't even think you're interested in me. And he said, You're absolutely right. I said, Felipe, did you did you hear what she said? Are you high? He tells us he likes her and he wants to change because he's not being the husband that he thought he would be. Whatever, Felipe. Okay, you being the man that you are. Nikki and Sean. Now we hadn't seen them all episode, and we almost done. But they're at this little place making perfume. Um, they start talking about finances, and she wants separate and joint accounts, which I personally think is the best way to do it. She said the joint accounts would be for traveling and um, bills and investments and stuff like that. But he wants to join forces. He wants to join forces and invest. Now everyone is getting ready for group dinner, and we stop by everybody's house for a second. Belle really does look like a Barbie in that outfit. Oh God, I wish she would just give herself to somebody who deserves it. Courtney is still talking about what she does. She does everything, and nobody else does anything. Nick said she invalidates his feelings before he can even voice them, and he's right. As soon as he tried to say something, she already got a problem with it. She told him she wants him to love her, but she feels like he isn't emotionally mature. Yep, that's what she said. Nick said he doesn't know where it can go from here. We get to the group session. Everybody's looking nice. Adam comes in there wearing workout clothes, and Felipe was like, "Adam, what you do before you came here?" Felipe, shut up, okay? Because we still mad at you. Adam was like, "I was just working." And what did you do before you came here? He was like, "I was shopping." Ugh. It would have been funny from somebody else. It pissed me off that Felipe had anything to say. Side note, was Paul wearing Adam's kimono? I said, that's the same one. Oh, no, maybe not. So they start with Courtney and Nick. Courtney said she wants Nick to feel comfortable enough to be himself. Nick said that he's being the self that he is comfortable being around her, and that was perfect for me. Paul asked Nick if he thought he was putting more effort in Courtney. Nick said not necessarily more effort, but the effort that he is putting in is not being recognized by Courtney. And he's not wrong. Paul said, do you guys have a strong romantic connection? Courtney said she doesn't know. Nick said, no. And Courtney, you do know. Nick said he'd like to stay on the show to learn more about himself, but that wouldn't be fair to Courtney. No, no, Nick, it would not. Okay, we already know you love the cameras. Everybody know, where you came from and where you trying to go. And I saw your little post on TikTok about this show that you pitching to host yourself. Paul asked if they wanted to end it right then and there, and of course, it goes off. So I'll be back in a second with the next episode. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it right now. Okay, I'll be right back.